abusia micho na misa so mo akwa baso nkoso efa omle channel so hada so ye be media je abusia misa fa sa konya we so ema wo eye official pana misa so ewo hye wo eye happy new year in advance na abusia ade allegedly ababeto dwa say papa eye Dominica yini atumi a petition eye US eye authority ani na efa eye the extradition of eye papa eye Ken Ofori Atta eye former finance minister abusia we dey ma mekasa am kasa tete pese connect and some abusia che all the tudwa enya sem kotoni na efa eye papa eye former finance minister eye Ken Ofori Atta when say ha eda so aye be media giche be so wase ene day di kan woni twa channel so abodi an so be subscribe e dey ama yabusia ma we to notification bell so for more podcast updates.
My fellow countrymen and women, today's press conference centers around a groundbreaking investigation and recovery of proceeds of crime by the Economic and Organized Crime Office. But before I proceed to provide the details of the investigation and its outcomes, I wish to take a moment to announce that I have formally transmitted the request for the extradition of former Finance Minister Ken Ofori Atta and his chef de cabinet, Mr. Ernest Dako Akore. You will recall that the Office of the Special Prosecutor investigated acts of corruption and corruption-related offenses by the former Finance Minister and his accomplices and proceeded to file charges in the High Court of Justice against them. On November 19th, 2025, that is this year, my office received a formal request from the Office of the Special Prosecutor to initiate extradition proceedings for Kenneth Ofori Atta and Ernest Dako Akore from the United States of America. Following a preliminary review, our International Cooperation Unit observed that certain aspects of the request require clarification and enhancements to align with the applicable legal and procedural requirements. We communicated these observations to the Office of the Special Prosecutor via 25th November 2025 and requested supplementary documentation to ensure completeness. On December 9th, 2025, the Office of the Special Prosecutor provided a requested additional documentation and addressed the observations that we raised, thereby finalizing the extradition request packages. Subsequently, on December 10, 2025, my office transmitted the complete request to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs for onward transmission to the competent authorities in the United States of America. That is, in this case, the Department of Justice of the United States. At this point, it is left to the American authorities, especially the judicial authorities, to make a determination on whether a sufficient basis exists for the two accused persons to be extradited to Ghana to stand trial. And because the matters have already been filed, and because they have been filed by the Office of the Special Prosecutor, I am not permitted to go into the details of the charges. But the charge sheet is a public document and has been made available. And all of you, I'm sure, have access to it. There are 78 charges against Honorable Ken Ofori Atta and his accomplices, and they border on causing financial loss to the state, using public office for private benefit, and so on and so forth. So you can look at the charge sheet and then make up your minds with respect to the charges. So I won't comment on them in today's press conference. Basically, what I want Ghanaians to know is that this government is committed to accountability. And the government has taken the requisite steps that are legally required for the Honorable Ken Ofori Atta and Ernest Dako Akore to be extradited to Ghana, to be brought to Ghana to face justice. As I indicated earlier, it is now left to the judicial authorities in the United States to assess the entire package that we have presented to find out whether there is sufficient basis for him to be extradited. But as I mentioned earlier, the major announcement that I have this morning is in relation to an investigation conducted by the Economic and Organized Crime, which led to a very big recovery of proceeds of crime. As you are all aware, the Economic and Organized Crime Office is one of the key law enforcement agencies that works directly under the Office of the Attorney General. Since assuming office as the Attorney General, I have worked closely with the Executive Director of the office, that is EOCO, Mr. Ofori Atta, and the management and staff of the EOCO to ensure that the fight against economic and organized criminal enterprises is sustained. The investigation I'm about to announce and the results of that investigation demonstrate the commitment of the Economic and Organized Crime Office to the fight against organized criminal enterprises. The investigation, which by the way is still ongoing, was complex and at the same time groundbreaking. In or around 2019, a criminal network comprising mostly of Chinese and Malaysians targeted both Ghanaian and British citizens using e-commerce websites and online fraudulent investment schemes. The gang established a Ghanaian company in 2019 to front their criminal enterprise. According to official records obtained by the Economic and Organized Crime Office, the company's principal business was described as general trading and online trading and marketing. This is how the criminal enterprise worked. The victims were permitted to purchase products online from the company's e-commerce website by paying a registration fee. Once the victims signed on, they were encouraged to purchase investment packages, which range from 770 Ghana cedis to 9,240 Ghana cedis. The criminals developed attractive flyers to promote fraudulent investment and categorize the investment into classes. So they had VIP 1, VIP 2, VIP 3, VIP 4 to VIP 5. And depending on the package, the price would enhance or increase. Victims were informed that they would make fantastic earnings by operating trading accounts as well as owning an online shop and trading in the company's goods on its online platform. Typical of most Ponzi schemes, victims were encouraged to embark on recruiting other victims through networking and referral systems. These investment packages could also be purchased via virtual currencies. The payments to the company in Ghana were either made by mobile money, cash, or via a crypto wallet. The criminals produced a how-to video demonstrating how to make payment using virtual currency. This video greatly assisted the Economic and Organized Crime Office in tracing the crypto wallet, which was used to receive the money and launder the proceeds of the criminal enterprise. Using very sophisticated tools such as chain analysis reactor, a software used to analyze cryptocurrency transactions on a blockchain, the EOCO identified the transfer of funds into the cryptocurrency wallet linked to the criminal enterprise. EOCO investigators established that the crypto wallets of the company were held on a crypto exchange platform called OKX, which was located offshore Seychelles. As it turned out, OKX's own internal investigation suggested that the criminal cluster, which EOCO was pursuing, had been found to be fraudulent. The suspicion of fraud stemmed from the fact that over 1,000 transactions from this cluster originated from a particular computer IP address and from a particular location, suggesting the transactions must have been done by an individual. EOCO obtained KYC, which is Know Your Customer information, from OKX, who showed that the owner of the crypto wallet, a Chinese national who worked in Ghana under a residence permit and also worked for the company which was used to defraud several Ghanaians and British citizens. This Chinese individual was also named by Ghanaian victims as a person who directly received funds from them in respect of the fraudulent investment scheme. Having connected the dots, EOCO managed to freeze the tainted wallets and serve the freezing order on OKX. The office also worked with OKX to notify the holders of the wallets. Realizing that the wallets had been frozen, the suspects sent emissaries to inquire why their wallets had been frozen. EOCO informed the suspects about the reasons for freezing the wallets and invited them to come to Ghana for further investigation. In the course of the investigation, the company which was used to defraud Ghanaians and British victims was closed down and its operations disappeared into thin air. Faced with a daunting task, EOCO applied to the Malaysian authorities for mutual legal assistance with a view to tracking down the directors of the criminal enterprise which it had established through investigations was Malaysian. There was no response from the Malaysian authorities. EOCO became aware that the criminal scheme which was operated and promoted by Chinese and Malaysian nationals was a global operation that targeted victims in developing countries in Africa. Therefore, and faced with the lack of cooperation from the Asian authorities, EOCO turned to the National Crime Agency of the United Kingdom for assistance and also enlisted the services of Comply Crypto Depository, a crypto asset management and realization company based in the UK, to facilitate the transfer of the tainted virtual assets from all the 4 seized crypto wallets that received the virtual currency transfers from the criminal cluster to a virtual asset custodian company called Zodiac Custody. Zodiac thus worked with EOCO to hold the virtual currencies under the control of the applicant, that is EOCO, until the assets were realized in fiat value and transferred into a bank account in the name of the applicant. EOCO then turned to Ghana's judiciary and obtained a High Court order on May 27, 2025 to the effect that OKX should transfer all crypto assets in its custody to Zodiac, and for Zodiac also to realize same into currency, fiat currency, and pay its dollar equivalent into the EOCO exhibit account. Additionally, the High Court ordered that upon the receipt of the funds, EOCO should cater to the victims of the crime. Through this approach, EOCO successfully used our local laws to freeze and recover virtual assets hidden in foreign jurisdictions. As a result, on November 19, 2025, Zodiac Custody successfully converted the said crypto assets of the criminal enterprise and paid same to EOCO's exhibit account in the amount of 15,191,730 United States of American dollars and 13 cents. As demonstrated above, the criminal enterprise targeted our citizens, defrauded them, and laundered the criminal proceeds into cryptocurrency such as Bitcoin, USDT, and Ethereum in an attempt to further hide the proceeds from the reach of Ghana's law enforcement. With this recovery, millions of funds which were looted out of the country have been successfully returned to our motherland. In the coming days, EOCO will enter into a second phase of this case, which will involve screening both Ghanaians and British victims for restitution. As His Excellency the President John Dramani Mahama stated, that EOCO